What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to another Saturday edition of the Alpha Series here on BitLab Academy. My name is Kellam. If this is your first time here, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. We break down tools and strategies and skills and mindsets and action plans within these charts so this market doesn't take advantage of you. You have to take advantage of setting up strategies so that you can navigate this market. Otherwise, it will absolutely navigate money out of your account. Why? Because sometimes no trade is the best trade. And sometimes the fundamentals scream buy when all of your fears and FUDs and all the things in this market that try to push you out tell you not to. So we got to break that down. And today we've got an excellent guest that we're going to be talking to today. So before we hop in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, join us, get involved in the live chat, get involved in commenting down below, and make sure you hop into our Discord. We got a wonderful community here at BitLab Academy. So without any further ado, the main man, one of my favorite people in the space, and some of you might think he's a rising star because he's only just now getting active on the social media side, but I can tell you right now, he's been doing this long before any of you were even born. It's Mr. Gary Cardone. How are you doing, my friend? I'm so happy to have you here.
Doing good, man. Doing good. It feels like it's the end of a week and it's only, Thursday. So I've been to 3 states already and I think 8 podcasts or some crazy number. So it just keeps getting more interesting. And I think it's becoming very clear what the real opportunity is. So I'm doing good, man.
Well, before we really dive into this, I have to just express my gratitude for you being here. I've had the opportunity to be on a number of different podcasts and spaces with you. And you even kind of pulled me aside at one point. We got on about an hour Zoom call and just talking life and markets. And so many people get so focused on the dollar and the, what is the thing that makes money? And you did something that I absolutely commend in business and life, which is who's the person? Who's the person underneath this? How can I help you? How can you help me? And I just want to say I thank you for that. And I appreciate you. And as we're diving into this, before we even get into it, what if somebody were to walk up to you on the street and pose the question or even the resistance about Bitcoin and the opportunity that is or isn't there underlying, what would be your brief sort of, few minute, this is why, whether you're retail or institution, why is Bitcoin, despite the price action that's been going on, it might feel frustrating zoomed in on a 1-hour chart, why is this something that is an absolute necessity for people's attention to at least pay attention to, if not yet get involved in?
The best, and glad to be here, Kelly. I think my best case I was just in Connecticut with about 30 or 40 high net worth families. And I've been doing a little bit of research on statistics. There's about 397,000 ultra wealthy families in the world. An ultra wealthy person, this is my best example of why anyone would at least consider doing 25 hours of study in this space. If 397,000 families, after hearing Secretary Gensler 2 weeks ago stating quotations multiple times on record that the digital asset industry is a sustainable asset class, new asset class, sustainable. Mr. Larry Fink of BlackRock, within a day came out and said virtually the same thing, almost as if the same speechwriter, maybe they all met in Davos with McKinsey and all the other top consulting firms. The top consulting firms for 6 months have been telling large institutions that crypto is already an asset class. And they use the broad definition of crypto. As you know, I use the definition of, there are 3 buckets for me. There is Bitcoin, there is blockchain, and there's other tokens. And many of those other tokens could be, another token would be, although it's not digital, at least to the consumer, would be a lottery ticket. That you buy in 7-Eleven. So those are all lottery tickets. They're all tokens. Some may or may not hold greater value. But I was surprised that Gensler and Fink both said crypto is an asset class, it's sustainable, and then Fink went on to say, and it's international, which is code for there's nothing weak and free can do about it. So once regulators, politicians say a word like asset class, that's very meaningful to a high net worth player. It's very meaningful to a pension. It's very meaningful to any trader that can, like at a Goldman, hey, he can swing between equities and bonds. And well, guess what? He doesn't even need to go to anybody for permission to trade the spot ETF if it happens. And the high net worth families are going to have advisors that are now saying, hey, you have to move into this space. You have to allocate some. So you can just do some assessments. I know high net worth people, and they're not going to deploy $100,000. Okay, they don't want the K1, they don't want the hassle. It's not meaningful. Think about a sheik in Saudi Arabia who owns 47 vehicles, 12 jets, 3 helicopters, 16 villas, gold that's stacked everywhere, girlfriends. What he has been able to buy everything on the planet, all of which can be produced over and over if the price goes up. And all of a sudden this family, 397,000 families hear about Bitcoin, which is the first only finite algorithmic coded product that has a finite universe of assets that one could buy. The Treasury Department, which is the IRS, came out right behind Gensler and Fink, and with a 900-page document about what you're going to be required and everyone that serves you is going to be required to provide reporting to the government, which is now everybody's figuring out why about Node 40. Because I mean, literally that 800-page document says, you need Node 40. You will need Node 40 to do all this stuff. And I'm not really advertising. I'm like, literally, it's saying that every player is going to have to provide this data, and you have to do it effective this year, be ready in 18 months, which is really their way of saying, hey, we know this is really challenging. It's going to take at least 18 months. Within a day of the Treasury coming out, then they changed the FASB rules so that corporates could put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Dude, how many green lights do we need? Okay. Now, this is the math. $2.5 million. I have far more than $2.5 million, and I am not a super high net worth player. Okay. Like I'm probably at the very bottom of the food chain. 7 out of 22 private families have already deployed some of their money into Bitcoin or crypto. That is 7 out of 22. Call it a third. Tiny, tiny bits. $2.5 million allocation. 397,000 families requires 37 million Bitcoin. 37 million Bitcoin will allow an extremely wealthy guy like me to buy 92 Bitcoin. That's it. So you guys can sit here and do the math all you want, but like, no, everybody's thinking about the underbank. We should think about the overbank. The overbank will drive this market. I've been saying this forever. The underbank are going to come along when the value of a Satoshi is somewhere between a penny and half a penny, then we'll see Satoshis working. But that means Bitcoin's price actually has to move so Satoshis become something that can be exchanged. In the meantime, you're going to have a lot of tokens make up the little payment rails, right? Whether they're fake tokens or CBDC tokens or whatever tokens they are, they're going to fill that gap until we're there. So that's my best explanation. And by the way, that's before 62 millionaires across planet Earth deploy $2,500.
So just just $2,500 each for these millionaires.
Hey, these are one-time hits too. Okay, for the multi-wealth, the super wealthy, it's $2.5 million. You can do it over 10 years at $25,000 a pop, or you can do it all at one time. Okay, they need 5.7 million. The millionaires can't even buy $2,500 worth of crypto, dude, without moving this market substantially. Okay, there's not 5 million Bitcoin floating around. So that is my thesis. Okay, I don't know any rich people that have ever found a product that they can beat their neighbor to buying it. Like guys like us love doing that. Oh, I can buy something you can't have. That is awesome. So I think we forget, and I think actually most high net worth players are already at max consumption. They literally no more planes. They don't need anything else. Like, I don't need anything else. Now it's all just investment. It's all the future. So you can do that math any way you want. You can take those $397,000 and factor that down to 10%. I am wrong by 90%. It's still 4 million Bitcoin. Okay. Any way you work this number. You can also back into it and say, well, the high net worth players are actually moving into an $800 trillion market. You know, I have assumed that no one even changes their allocation to 800 trillion. I have assumed this is a new $22.5 million rolling into a new asset class. It's not moving like it's not moving from equities to Bitcoin. It's literally new money. Now, what happens if this really takes off and some guy goes, hey, you know, there's a $400 trillion locked up in commercial real estate. We're going to move 0.1% of that into Bitcoin. That is not included in my assessment. And I think there's been less than a 1 or 2% deployment of really wealthy people into this space. It's a very hard number to really get your head wrapped around, but I think that's about what the allocation is currently. And it has to go up to 3 to 8%, I would think. So that's the thesis, buddy.
I mean, it's so many good points there. And, you know, everything, people, I feel like, get so myopically focused, especially new people coming into Bitcoin. And I mean the retail new people. I don't mean the wealthy and the ultra wealthy, but people come in and they want to catch up to other players. They want to trade. And you know, we have a whole academy that doesn't just teach trading. It actually, my favorite part of it is psychology of investing. You know, what's your mindset? What are the fundamentals? Understanding the basics. So many people forget the basics and then they go out there and try to run. And yet they forget that you don't understand Bitcoin by being very in tune with the 4-hour chart. You understand Bitcoin by understand that it's a cog in the wheel of the global markets now. And essentially what you're also saying is it is a new cog that everybody's just now starting to consider. And with that being said, we have institutions on the horizon. Some are already starting to play in the sandbox, but with all these things from Gary Gensler to Jerome Powell, who's been asked about it, you know, on the state, on the floor of the Senate in different conversations on talking points. You have Larry Fink talking about, we have Vanguard, we have VanEck, we have Invesco. I mean, the ball has only just started getting rolling. And when you're talking about the ultra wealthy and the wealthy individuals out there, they are going to be typically a little more conservative about where they allocate their capital. And the fact that institutions are now on the horizon and we see meaningful work moving towards that being a high likelihood, how much do you feel like that the institutional side and the regulation side, is that giving more weight and encouragement to the ultra wealthy of participating? How are these things tied together? Are these dominoes going to fall together is kind of the question.
Well, look, you don't produce a 900-page treasury document over a weekend. Look, so let's think about this. And I can put this document up for your readers, but I'm pretty sure only one of them is going to read it. Which, by the way, I'll make a bet with your whole company that you will find a trend between people who want to do shortcuts in Bitcoin and crypto, and they're confused and they're asking double questions, you know, want to know about mining returns and all this stuff. I guarantee you, the people that ask those questions have spent less than 4 hours studying the subject. Less than 4. They've probably not read the white paper. I have never known anybody that spends more than 25 hours that doesn't really sink their teeth into this space deeply and do another 75 hours, and they don't ask stupid questions. Okay, like, this is supply and demand. It has nothing. Every business I've ever gone into had to have the supply and demand quotient in it, or I'm not going to play, because I don't understand. I believe fundamentals always kick in. Okay, there's far too much money on this planet that it does not have access to something that cannot be manufactured. At $5,000, there will be so much gold made on this planet. We will find gold till the end of time. Oil, There's an infinite supply of fossil fuel on this planet at a price, and every other product. So look, all of these people are maxed out on their other asset allocations. It's not like they need more real estate. I know I was with a wealthy family from Kansas this week who has 80,000 apartment doors, and they're moving into Bitcoin mining. Well, they don't need any more apartment doors, dude. And these people, by the way, they don't need, they're worth $500 million. They don't need another big move. They're not going to die if they don't catch a move. What they will do though is once Treasury writes a letter that took probably 6 months up for consultation. Look, we're giving green lights everywhere. There's no one that believes this is a bad product right now, except the industry, which keeps, doing everything it possibly can to shoot itself in the foot. And it's just a very, very immature industry. And that is probably more of a liability for big institutional money coming in this space than anything else. Institutions are going to drive this, dude. There's no doubt. I believe an ETF gets approved this year. And the reason is because everybody understands this is going to happen. So now all they're doing is delaying it just to delay it, right? Just to be a dick. And well, I mean, seriously, like the kind of stuff that's going on, everybody's being overregulated, investigated. You can't even offend, these investigations are so painfully expensive. That is the punishment. So grateful to XRP, Coinbase, and Grayscale for actually pushing back and spending the money to push back and say, hey, knock it off, because Google and every other major player has, in the last 20 years, just been writing checks to the DOJ and the SEC and the FTC going, yeah, it's cost of doing business, but nothing changes, right? Then they come do it to me, man. It is hammering on a business when you're defending your integrity. And so, look, I think the market, this solutions always come at the right time. And this could not have happened 10 or 15 years ago. We did not have the technology. Today, we have the technology, and it's going to fill up whatever the oligarchs, the manipulators, the guys that have been able to, move some puzzle pieces around, which I got to tell you, man, if I was one of those families, I'd be moving the pieces. Okay. I'm certain I would be moving the pieces. I would have rationalized it in my mind 20 or 30 years ago. Okay. Hey, this is for the greater good. I know better than y'all. I mean, I have more access to information, and I know these peeps, they're good peeps really, but this is just what happens when you get too much money and too much power. And I think this is a cool opportunity for the underbank to get some power, for the overbank to diversify. And when the overbank come into this, the overbank's going to be our friends too.
Okay, and just because we got alpha pros, years of experience, as well as super beginners, what do you mean, just simple synopsis of overbank and underbank?
Underbank, of course, we're talking about Nigeria, Africa, people that can't get a bank account. They have no credit lines. They've been in a divorce. The wife didn't ever have any credit whatsoever. And then the people, truly the 40% of the population that still cooks on wood, 3 billion people that, in order for them to get me to send them money, one of the vendor thieves is going to take 20 or 30 bucks from this poor person in Africa. Look, there's $7 trillion in fees that you and I pay in America to American banks, man. Every year, 7 trillion. Okay, all of that goes away. All of it. Circle's making 70 million, give or take, on stable coins every month. Goldman will look at that margin and go, oh, please get it away from my plate, right? Because it's such a tiny margin. For Circle, they're up to 70 million. Isn't this awesome? So we have such a chasm being created between the old world and the new world. And it's not just in Bitcoin, dude. It's in media. Okay, think about this. Donald Trump got 216 million views a week ago through Twitter. You know how much it cost him?
Nothing.
$20, bro. $20 for the little blue thing, right? And his, you know, and he walked into a jail and got his picture taken. Gets 216 million views. That would have cost $600 million in the old legacy world. See, why? Because we have decentralized media sources sitting on a centralized platform that the only way you're going to cut the platform off is to do a big old EMP across everything. It's the only way to disrupt this now. Blow an EMP across the whole planet, shove us back into the dark ages, and then your credit card won't be used. You won't be able to access Bitcoin, and only physical gold and silver and guns will be. That's the end of times kind of thing. But I find it interesting that CNN, can you imagine Anderson Cooper going on Twitter for $200 because he got 80 million views? No way, dude. But that's what 80 million views gets you about $300, $400, $500 on Twitter. And that is awesome. All you podcasters, quit bitching about that price, okay? You literally cut off all mainstream media's access to this market. The moment they move into this market, their stock price will tank. Okay, so we love this disruptive price. These prices will change later once you get millions and millions of people. We can all get rich in 3 years. Right now, we need the shift to occur. And the shift is occurring at every level. This is not stoppable. The problem with the Bitcoin crypto communities, they're just looking at it like this. Y'all need to look outside and see what else is happening, right? Like what happens in payments. Payments was built for in-store transactions. Nobody going in store and buying anything unless they're bored, right?
Yeah.
Guy said to me the other day, he said, man, I got to get out of the house. You know, it's too much COVID. And I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm like, guys do not go to the grocery store to get out of the house. They go to the bar. Okay. Now, maybe wives go to the grocery store, but I don't know anybody that thinks going to the grocery store is sexy anymore. So what are they going to do? They're going to all shop at home, man. Okay. Because COVID and these idiots that released this pandemic, like they taught us a lot of what we were able to do. And this is all backfiring now. That's why I say everything happens at the right time. This one, you know, the powers, the small number of people that are in power are losing their grip on reality. And solutions are showing up to fill those gaps. That is what technology does. It fills in gaps of inefficiency. And that's all Bitcoin's going to do. It's just going to take its piece of the pie. And maybe there's only 800,000 of us that take a large position in Bitcoin. It's still a lot of money, okay? But you can even do that math. Okay, only 800,000 people deploy X number of millions of dollars to Bitcoin. What does that mean? The other complication you have if you're a legacy is, hey, this is the first time there's 20 guys hanging around all over the world with VPNs, know more about technology, and they're sitting on $8 billion. Like they could do anything they want. They can lose money forever, right? They have no board to go to talk to. They've made so much money, they could just say, I think I'm just going to deploy 7.5 billion of this just to fuck everything up. Like really lean in on it, right? Hey, there's 4 or 5 of these guys. Okay? Like if I meet them, I'll build a club around them. Okay, and these are not people that live in the old legacy world where, hey, I'm not talking to you. These people collaborate. This young generation, this world, we collaborate. This is a very different business process than the legacy guys are used to. I haven't sent someone an NDA in 3 years. I don't even believe in NDAs. I think they're the biggest waste of time and energy. That's like an NDA. I'm not even going to spend $1 trying to defend it, right? Like I either need to get to market or I don't get to market. So these big contracts, that's all going to go away. I mean, these people, 2 days ago, I'm saying all these ultra wealthy people, I'm like, hey, how did we let all our children get trapped because they're hitting consent buttons on Google Docs. Like, we're teaching children to sign agreements they don't even read. 70 people in a room. I said, how many people have ever signed an online contract? Everybody raised their hand. How many of you read it? Not one hand raised. I looked around and went, billionaires sitting in the room. Wow, we got talked into signing binding contracts and not even being conscious. So there's got to be a lot that change. You wonder why there's so many returns, refunds, chargebacks, people upset. Hey, I don't have an obligation to pay for this airline flight, because they're not reading the documents.
Yeah.
There's no intention of even entering into an agreement, right? All they're trying to do is get the products sent to them.
Now, everybody, make sure, if you haven't yet, you head over to Gary Cardone's page right here. Follow him at Gary Cardone. He's very quickly growing on social media because he has such a wealth of knowledge and so many years of experience in so many different kinds of markets. And he has taken that orange pill. He's, I don't want to say all in on Bitcoin, but I would say within his bones, this man knows Bitcoin. He knows these markets, and he knows just how powerful this is going to impact the world. So make sure you follow him. He's putting out a lot more content now as well. And I believe he's also maybe doing a YouTube here very soon as well. But coming back over to you, Gary, we've been talking about Bitcoin. We've been talking about also, and I love the fact that you designated, because I do it as well, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and it's three different markets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the altcoin lottery system. And I participate in that lottery system, but I do it with a smaller allocation, with very, very much more heavily weighted in Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's your general thoughts on, okay, Ethereum, but also, do you have any outliers in that lottery, we call the lottery side? Do you have any outliers that you are kind of like, oh, whether it's NEAR or AVAX, or I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but what's your thoughts on the broader market outside of Bitcoin?
My thoughts are that no one except me should buy any altcoins, ever. The only time to buy an altcoin is when you're so stuffed up with Bitcoin, like you just can't even budge. You have so much Bitcoin in your wallet. And the reason I say that is because most people not in my position should not be taking that risk. Okay, you're looking for a super payday so you don't have to work. Okay, like literally, you might as well just go buy the lottery ticket, which I think is a complete waste of money. But if you're trading and you have altcoins and you don't have any Bitcoin yet, I'm going to call you a degenerate. Y'all are the ones that came up with the term, right? And it's worth looking at that word. This is a once in a century opportunity. And I don't know why you need more juice, right? Now, me, I buy a lot of Bitcoin every week. Okay, I mean, I'm buying here at 25, 26. I love this price. I think this is unbelievable. I remember buying apartment doors with my twin brother in Arizona, and they were exactly this price, dude. 20 years ago, $25,000 a door. I said, Grant, open check, dude. Any of them you find, just buy them. Dude, like, you can't replace these things at 25 grand a door. By the way, I think it's going to be hard to replace Bitcoin at 25. One, I've never seen a product where 76% of the people that have this shit don't sell it. Okay, I'm at dinner the other night with a lady who runs a private equity-owned accounting forensics firm. She bought Bitcoin at $7, dude. And then she bought a bunch of Ethereum at 12 cents or something. She's never sold it. I looked at her and I said, Bitcoin's a better investment today than it was when you bought it at $7. She said, absolutely it is. That was a total punt, right? Now, this is not a punt anymore. This is about how long can you hold on, or are you going to get flushed out? And that's what's happening right now. Because of blockchain, we can see where all the weak points are in the charts. They're just going to beat them up, okay? And they're going to flush you out. That's why most people looking at the charts that have a day job, I don't know why you're looking at the charts. Either your position is too big, or there's something else going on, but you're stealing from your boss every time you look at the chart, unless you're in the business. So look, I bought some Dogecoin just recently. Why? I think Twitter is going to be one of the biggest payment companies on the planet. I think Elon's a bit of a weird cat, and he'll use Doge just to make a point. So it's a lottery ticket. The maxis can get really upset with me, but I tell you what, you maxis, I'm so sick of this travel bullshit. You've never met a guy like me. I'll tell you one thing, okay? When you don't have any US dollars or any euros in your pocket, no credit cards, no US dollar real estate, no bonds, equities, or debt, you call me up and let me know when you're 100% Bitcoin, okay? And then you can call yourself a maxi and quit judging other people. My financial position is so complex that you guys say things that I should be doing that you have no clue. You have no clue how complex my situation is. And what you should be doing is actually appreciating that a guy my age, with my experiences coming into this market, allocated well over what most people have allocated. Not only in money, dude, I bought a company in this space. I go to the trade shows and I'm bringing value, and I never hawk. I never trying to pitch getting money from anyone. I'm actually trying to help. And I think like y'all have to get your act together. I don't know what the deal is, but you know, half of you need to grow up, and the other half of you need to get out of the whole religious thing. Hey, it's a one-way show. It's just not being very productive. And the funny thing is, I actually agree long-term that Bitcoin can solve many social problems, but it ain't going to do it today. Okay, it's going to do it as you get on an escalator, and the journey becomes with more and more people. You're being so exclusionary. We need to.
You mean just broadly the crypto market. All the participants. I remember being on a space with you one time, and I thought it was so brilliant how you put it. You said one of the worst. I mean, it's amazing what this ecosystem has done, but the number one thing in the way of this ecosystem is the people in it. We've done a terrible job of PR as a whole. Everybody in this community, with the trolls, with the bad actors, with the scams, with the. I mean, there's so much of it wrapped up in there. So if you were to talk to everybody in the space and say, if everybody had an individual role in this, how could everybody in the space do their service each day to making this space better?
Stop supporting scammers. Look, you guys know who they are, okay? I ask any of you guys, you'll start making a list. So we know there's stuff going on here. This business here, the business you're in, you guys, and I'm not pointing to you, I'm pointing to everyone. An area that I would be concerned in, if you're a what's it called, social media influencer. If you're an influencer and you're talking about coins, if I was sitting on your board, I'd tell you to be really careful, because it sounds to me like there's a conflict of interest.
I agree
and I always
with
tell, dude, it's a gross conflict of interest, and you're going to get hammered. You watch the FTC and these people; they're going to say, "Hey, we don't like it." And it may not be financial advice, but it's education, and these people don't know what they're doing. I think most of the people right now in crypto should not even be here. But I mean, 60 or 70%. Okay, that tells you that the real market hasn't even started here yet. That's why 25,000, dude. It's not even close to being right. Okay, it might be 12. If it's 12, I'm selling $20 million worth of homes if it's 12, because I'll do it all. I'll go in deep. Look, I think all of us could do more. All of us could do more. I mean, I just, the Satoshi white paper, whoever wrote that, he didn't say all this was going to happen tomorrow morning. Whereas some people in this industry think, okay, Visa, no one should use Visa tomorrow. We're better than Visa. Okay, good, dude. Prove it, okay? Prove it. Do 20 million transactions in an hour, okay? Now, I got it. Most of them don't settle, but I think this starts with a store of value first, a concept, then it moves into a store of value. What are you saying? Who are the people making all the noise here? Dude, there are people like Saylor, guys that are putting huge chunks of money. I mean, I just left a $500 million business to spend my time in this. Okay, I probably left a little money on the table to focus on this. So you're seeing people put this on their balance. I mean, I hold Bitcoin on one of my company's balance sheets. Now that's just became very, very easy for anyone to do now because of the FASB rules. So the overbank pushes this. They see a store of value. Whatever you think is going to happen with mining, I'm quite certain that we all have it wrong. That mining Bitcoin will be done by the dirtiest fossil fuel players on the planet. They are freaking engineers and drillers.
It's a win-win thing. It's one of the biggest, like, I'm so confounded by some of the talking points over the last 2 or 3 years, especially with environmental stuff. And you said it best in one of the spaces we were on, how much energy, yes, is produced, but almost how much energy is wasted. And these businesses are in it to make money. Even if they don't care about Bitcoin, here's a way that you can harness wasted energy and turn it into money. It's a win-win.
That's right. That's right. And look, there's a lot of trapped wind, right? There's wind that's just trapped. It costs too much to get the energy to market. There's a lot of transportation that occurs. I mean, I'm told, will be a little humorous point, but I'm told by Fox and CNN that someone blew up 2 major pipelines leaving Russia, entering into the Eurozone. So if I'm Putin, I'm sitting there going, wow, I spent all those years, all that money building these 2 pipes. Then 2 monkeys in a rowboat, dropped a cigarette on a hand grenade and it blew up, I guess. Right as we're having this really funky war with the Ukraine that nobody wants to have except a bunch of crazy politicians. If you're Putin, you're sitting here going, okay, look, it cost me $2.80 to get natural gas from Siberia all the way to the Russian border at Germany, and then somebody just blew the pipeline up. How my net back to the wellhead is 20 cents. How about if I just start mining, take 20 cents per decatherm nat gas into a mining facility that Exxon's going to pay $3.20 for. They're going to mine Bitcoin for 20 cents and have no transportation issues. And by the way, whoever blew the pipeline up, I'm sure it was just a couple of Boy Scouts. That will never happen again because he just removed anyone's ability to blow his wallet up, his hardware wallet, and he'll just move those Bitcoin over to Turkey, and they're the ones that wanted the energy in the first place. So like everything we are doing is so ass backwards, it's unbelievable. That will then drive, and notice I'm using sovereigns, dude. I'm not talking about ExxonMobil. I'm talking about sovereigns, okay? Once sovereigns take their energy and convert it to Bitcoin, we are already in game theory. No one's really fully appreciating. They don't have to put it on their freaking treasury. They've done that through reversing all their energy sources that aren't making any money or they're not even producing it. This has to happen because it's new money. I was with a guy from MIT 2 days ago. There was a guy like crazy looking scientist guy. You could tell, oh, that's the smartest guy in the room. I'm pitching this idea. Guy's like, dude, you're totally freaking right. This is totally going to happen. He runs up to me and said, dude, it's all the stranded fossil fuel. It's all the dirty shit. All this solar and wind, I don't buy it, okay? Now, I do believe that there will be people building in Texas. The guy that's building in Texas is going to have one thing in common. The utility is going to be able to shut him off and take the electricity away from him. He's going to be a call option for the electric grid, and he'll make his money on being a call option, right? But The guys that are going to make all the money are going to be right back to the wellhead, zero input. In fact, the MIT guy told me, dude, it's not 20 cents. It's negative. It is literally negative. And I've been saying that to everybody. It's negative, but nobody can have negative. And I looked at him and went, you're totally right. It is negative. You're going to get paid to make Bitcoin. So everybody that's talking about, hey, the price has to triple because of the halving. No, it doesn't do. What if the energy input goes down? Now, everybody's going to be sitting there going, yeah, but crude oil is going up. Crude oil is going up on the Brent market and the WTI market. That does not mean that 23% of the fossil fuel that never makes it to market, that's the price for that. That price is zero. It's just sitting there, leaking into the pipes, leaking into the air. It's just a gross amount of inefficiency that's going to find its way into a margin.
Yeah.
You start laughing, it just makes so much sense, right?
No, I'm laughing because it's like, even as aware as we, like you and I both, and you're way more aware than I am. I've been in the crypto market longer, but that pales in comparison to your understanding of markets. Like I bow to your knowledge on this stuff, but why I laugh is because as thoughtful as we could be imagining all the different aspects of how Bitcoin, and we can broaden that into blockchain and other things too, but specifically Bitcoin, we have no ability to conceptualize the ramifications and the effects this is going to have on global trade, global culture, global economies, sovereigns, personal financial sovereignty, all these things. Everything in the world is affected by this, and it's so remarkable to feel like for the first time I'm kind of at the start of something that is, this is the turning point for human culture on Earth. Because it's not just money, it's a change in the way culture and businesses both simultaneously have to interact with the world, and it's without question.
Yeah, and I think y'all don't have the experience of how long this type of thing takes. I remind people it took Visa and MasterCard 50 years to achieve adoption. 50 years, 5 decades, okay? Now, everything now is starting to compress. If you've been aware, the cycles are compressing. We are getting close to a blowout where we start over. I really believe that. It feels to me, philosophically, like we are much more in the 1960s. Question. 1950s, 1960s, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, LSD, stop wearing bras, free sex. We're tired of being, chastity belts and religion. What if we'd have had the telephone back then? What if we would have had blockchain back then? What if we would have had technology? What if we'd have had social media or Twitter? Whoa, would Vietnam have happened? Okay. I believe we're getting ready to recycle through the 60s event. This time, dude, it's going to be on every psychedelic combination with the most advanced technology this planet has seen in 12,000 years. It's a game changer now. It's just totally a different window. And I feel like I'm blessed to be living through it. Minimally, we're living in history. But like for the first time in my life, it took me 2 years to build a business in blockchain and crypto. I didn't know anything about it. I'm looking at it now going, I think I could form a media company because of what the disruptive nature of decentralized technology is allowing all of us. Like a real media company, dude, like a multi-billion-dollar media company, and I have no idea how to do that. I think I could probably go into politics today, something I could never have done. I could probably get voted into Senate or Congress just running on this. I will put 30% of the public block of all the government spend on the public blockchain. Dude, I think I would win just on that platform. I'm a good guy, so they're not going to find a bunch of crazy shit except I pick bad wives. or I'm just not a good husband, something. But I mean, I just 3 failed marriages. Like, okay, dude, I'm not good at that. But I never thought about going to politics until now. It's like, whoa, you can really obtain a lot of access. So, you know, it's old legacy companies don't like this much change all at one time. And that includes the regulators, the politicians. When I say legacy companies, I'm talking about, you know, how's Elizabeth Warren, dude? Like worth $70 million and she makes 183. Like I kind of missed something. Okay, somebody did not call me into that schoolroom and give me the top secret.
There's a bit of a divergence there, if I do say so. I mean, also Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren. You see that list of people in Congress.
They all use the same broker. Yeah, they all use the same financial advisor. Clearly, dude.
But they'll enforce rules on traders and stuff for insider trading, and it's like, really, you and your husband are worth $180 million on a salary. It's just, we don't even need to go down that rabbit hole. But you know what? The difference is now we have this access point now with a whole different ecosystem with Bitcoin. That those that are participating, do you feel like this will be the last question, and we can be wrapping up here in a moment. But do you feel like, when's the turning point for it being too late to get into Bitcoin? Do you feel like that's going to be something that's going to be 20 years, 30 years out? Do you feel like there truly is a huge value in people that are in now before these ETFs? Is it just one of those things that because we're here today, any time is a good time, until further notice?
Well, this is where this financial advice gets a little sketchy, right? So I don't know what your personal position is, your debt, what your other strategies are. I don't know enough to be able to say that. Look, when was the right time to buy gold? Okay, I mean, gold before the ETF went out was trading at $383. Then the ETF went out and it just exploded. Okay. I think that's more likely to happen than Bitcoin does its halving dance. Too many people in this industry think the halving dance is going to be the same. That scares me. When was the wrong time to buy real estate? You see, if the Bitcoin people are correct, and this is all about printing fake money ad nauseum, then Bitcoin by default will always go up relative to the dollars. All it actually has to do is stay at $25,000 and you're going to be okay. This is extremely difficult for most people to understand because they don't really understand inflation. All you hear about is a guy saying, hey, look, I got a salary raise last year. Yeah, dude, you got a salary raise one time in 10 years of any significance. This salary raise is not going to change. And your prices are going to still go up forever. So you might think you're feeling good today, but like next year, you're fucked again. Unless we have massive deflationary spiral, which I actually think can happen if we're not censored. If we're not censored, massive deflation will occur over 5 years. So I can't believe I'm able to buy at this price with all the information I have. That's all I can say. If the price goes to $12,000, I'll buy a whole lot more. The other tokens I can't speak to. Even Ethereum, okay? Like if I'd have been Gensler, I wouldn't have put Ethereum in the box. Because I truly think you've just diluted what Bitcoin can do. Okay, Bitcoin is very different per code than Ethereum, and I'm a little surprised that showed me a chink in the armor of their thought process, because I do not believe Ethereum is decentralized as is BTC. Right? I think that's a fair. Now, somebody could come on here and destroy me and make me look like an idiot, but it doesn't look decentralized to me. It looks decentralized in the same way I see media being decentralized, right? It still has to happen on a Twitter or a YouTube. I mean, you see that guy the other day just got just ripped off, just taken off of YouTube, man. Shouldn't be taking people off the bloody website. Like you can't just take, but even if they do, even if Elon does it, dude, there'll just be another one pop up, okay? This is a whack-a-mole now. I could form a social media platform, go offshore, build one, and I think we're gonna have those too, actually. I think we're gonna have those. So look, you shouldn't be buying Bitcoin if you're in debt. You shouldn't be buying Bitcoin if you're working for somebody and you're having to pay attention to Bitcoin. If you're looking at the chart every day and you're making long-term investments, I don't know what you're wasting your time with, okay? If you are looking at charts every day and you're getting nervous and you hold Bitcoin, you have too much Bitcoin, or you're over allocated, or you're shooting for the moon or something, because you should be, oh wow, Gary holds, I mean, I hold a lot of this stuff, okay? The price goes down, I get happy. I'm like, what is going on here? I can buy again here. So, but I believe in my thesis, see? I really believe in my thesis. So if you're getting nervous, go reread the thesis. Understand that all fiat, all political currency fails. I love Greg Foss, what he said. It is with 100% certainty the US dollar will fail. That is so difficult for most Americans to understand. Dude, get your head out of your ass, okay? You've been listening to too much propaganda. 12,000 years, all currencies fail. They're designed to fail. They need to be rinsed and scrubbed. Guess what? All human beings are gonna fail. We're gonna die. So why is it you think a freaking currency is gonna survive? It just gets too long in the teeth, right? And markets change, dynamics change. To me, this is a tool that just comes at the right time, like it's a gift. Instead of fighting it, study it. The people that are resisting this have not studied it. They've listened to other people. They've listened to other advisors, maybe like Michael, or listen to stuff like this, but they don't own it for themselves. And they think they understand the old world they live in. But in reality, they don't even understand that. But everybody understands. They're just with their neighbors and all's okay. The outlier, this is not unusual that you would have outliers like us. We are the outliers, dude. There's 6% of the world's population. We're just those people. And the thing is, 6% of a global population is a market. Okay, 6% of a US population is a tiny market, but we're talking about 6% of the global population. That's a very, very different market. That's all you need is a Jack Dorsey, a Gary Cardone, an Elon, a Michael Saylor, and 100 of their buddies. And that's a market, because there's a lot of people who are going to follow these 100 buddies, right? It's a network effect. So communities make up markets. I don't go to the YMCA, but people have decided what the YMCA memberships were, right? That's a market. And so I don't even understand why people are fighting this bloody thing, right? I will say I'm beginning to see a lot of multi-billionaires that are looking at real estate, because most of these people have real estate. They're getting it now. They're going, whoa, this is a real estate play, isn't it? No, it's not. It's actually globally movable, transportable real estate that requires zero maintenance and no tax. No tax on real estate. Woo, no maintenance. Maintenance kills the economics on real estate. If families actually plugged in what they spend on maintenance over the lifetime of a house and the time it took them, no one values their time like I do. But if they plugged in all those numbers, owning a home is extremely expensive. It's not a positive return once you factor everything in, right? So that's if you're not convinced by now, go read a book, man.
Gary, I so appreciate having you on and talking with you. And I felt like I couldn't do anything but really just let you have the floor and see where it would go, because you have such a interesting and experienced understanding of this. And also you're plugged in and kind of several different social strata that I don't have access to. Maybe at some point I will in the future, but you're also very matter of fact, which a lot of most people in the world aren't. So I got to say, I really appreciate your time here with us.
Sure. And look, on that, like I invested, for you guys that don't want to buy the coins, right? Like I invested in a company here in this space, serving this space. You don't have to buy Bitcoin. Your appetite might be, okay, now that everybody's blessed this space, let me go talk to a venture fund guy or a guy like Gary Cardone. And hey, are there real companies I can buy in this space? Like I bought an accounting, forensics, tax audit firm. If I came to somebody and said, hey, I'm going to buy one of the biggest, who's H&R Block, I'm a build an H&R Block in the digital asset space. $20 million lets me build a $1 to $3 billion business. If I don't mention Bitcoin and blockchain, people be like, I want to look. Then this is it. This is a new industry that has to be accounted for. And the tax man just said, you will account for it and you will do it per certain rules. So you don't have to buy the Bitcoin. If you're worried about your children leaving college, not having a freaking clue what they're going to do because they haven't been educated, send them to me. I will hire every 18-year-old kid that comes right out of school, assuming they know how to show up on time, listen, write, and have manners. Okay, if their parents actually taught them ethics, they do not need to go to college. I will turn them into monsters, dude. Monsters, okay? Because they don't need to know anything. They don't know anything in this industry, and I can teach them from a blank sheet of paper. So I look at that and go, well, that's going to take care of 1 million to 2 million people that are undereducated in the United States alone. The problem is I don't see any of the parents going, why am I going to send my kids to college, dude? Why am I doing this? They're not even being taught the right things, okay? They're not. They are not. They're leaving school. They have no clue how money's made or how finance works or even the difference between Republicans and Democrats or where the Ukraine is, okay? It's scary, man. And we're a global world now, and you have people in China and India that like they're going to work their ass off. So I have a lot of concern about what we're doing with our most valuable resources, which I think are children and the minds of a culture. To me, this is a tremendous, although disrupting event. It is going to disrupt whether US likes it or not. We have no control over it. And maybe people should be looking at this through a different lens. This will take bad energy off the market. It will keep clean energy available for real use of energy. I want to help the planet as much as anyone. I'd like proof that all this is actually happening, but for sure, I can get rid of dirty fossil fuel that's leaking into the earth and turn that into Bitcoin through mining, probably in geos that are more conducive to heat, data centers. And why would we want to, just waste the hydro? And I don't think that's the best use of it. And there's trillions and trillions of dollars of inefficiencies in fees and tag-alongs and fines and all types of little things that have to occur because too many people send mail. Remember when we said, hey, there's not going to be mailboxes in the future? There's still mail showing up. Okay, what a waste. Yeah. You want to ESG something? Stop sending all the mail to mailboxes for advertising. Okay. Yeah. Hey, stop having every Fifth Third bank build in every city, 6 $2 million homes in the middle of an industrial zone. These $2 million, 6,000 square foot, they look like homes. They got big parking lots and they have 3 customers a day. Why the hell are we spending all this money on banks that nobody are going to? Taking away a piece of land that could be for a home, having a piece of land that's heavy fossil fuel imprint, concrete, has to be insured, has to be electrified. No, nobody's going into those buildings, and for sure nobody's going to go into those buildings in 3 years. So this is an opportunity for a total structural restart. And if America would stop sending all the money offshore to fight wars that we have no business in, and nobody wants to fight, and we take all that money and we put it back into making this a great educated country, we might get back on our feet again. Otherwise, we're going to lose our position.
Yeah, I hear that. But what like you said earlier, what an opportunity, what a time, what a honor almost it is to, because we could have been born at any time in history. And we're here right now. I mean, I was looking at a video my dad digitized the other day. It was from home movies back from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Of course, I was born in the 80s. And I was looking at this video, and I was like, man, I didn't even realize there was a video with me in it. I was like, man, this video looks like it's from last century. And then I realized, well, I also was born last century. And it just made me really realize the disparity or the change, the evolution of technology from early 80s to now. It's two totally different worlds. Then we think about my grandfather, who's 100 years old. When he was born, his family had the first light bulb in their whole neighborhood. And we're talking about how fast, you're talking about the compression of things and cycles. Technology has accelerated all this stuff. We have not even culturally caught up to the fact that we can call somebody rather than mail, let alone have blockchain technology that's instantly, there's so much to be explored here. And we're going to have you back on again and talk about this further. I appreciate you beyond any other words I could say. And I look forward to being on another podcast with you.
Thanks so much, Kelly.
Oh, absolutely. Now, before we go, everybody, I just wanted to shout out again, Gary Cardone right here at Gary Cardone. You can find more information on him there. He's doing spaces all the time. Just wealth of information. Definitely check in with him there. And if you haven't yet, make sure you head over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page right here at Academy BitLab. And of course, my own right here at Kelly Kellam. Again, the only reason why I call these out, all three of us, the company, and then both Gary and myself, is because there's so many of those people Gary was talking about earlier. So many people out there scamming, trying to take advantage of your hard-earned money and your hard-earned time and attention. So make sure you're following the correct people. Big love to each and every one of you out there. I appreciate you. And if you do want to watch the full-length version of this video, make sure you head over to the youtube.com/@BitLab Academy or hit that link down below. Watch the full-length version of this. And shout out to everybody at Discover Crypto. Shout out to everybody that's here on BitLab Academy. We appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful Saturday. And remember, just like Gary said, $25,000. All you would need to do is hold $25,000 of Bitcoin at that price. And if it doesn't change, you're doing better than the dollar. So get it.
Doors, dude. Those apartment doors today are worth $225 grand. And you can't buy them. And
it's such a wonderful analogy, because everybody's expecting Bitcoin price to go 150 to 200, and it's 25. But the difference is the timeline that it took for those apartments, right? And now this digital real estate. Everybody, get involved, do your research, do your 25 hours, and then add 100 more. Gary's smiling, I'm smiling.
That's right.
Educate yourselves.
Thank you, man.
I'll see you later, my friend. Adios.
Peace and power to all.
Yeah, peace and power to all.
Ciao.